I'm getting ready to shock the snot out of y'all. You ready? I have changed my tune on going third party. As many of y'all know, I've been totally opposed to a third party, but I've seen the light and I'm totally for it. And I'm totally in support of a third party libertarian tent. I'm sold, y'all. Let's do this.
I think with that propaganda.
If you keep repeating something enough, it sinks in, I reckon. And I keep hearing that if Republicans want to win, they have to become more libertarian. So it's okay for libertarians to insist that we assimilate to their worldview. But many of these same people would start farting fireworks if you said, well, we need to become more Christian. They start sounding like those liberals, separation of church and state and leave God out of it and so on. Now, before I go on, many libertarians often accuse me of attacking them or offending them and say we should be working together after they call me a Zionist neocon. And working together to them means follow them. I don't attack you. I'm responding to you. I do not disagree with you without telling you why. And none of my disagreements have anything to do with hating you and hating you for no reason. I'm not interested in becoming more libertarian. I want to be more like Christ, not more like Jesse Ventura. Who among you can write the book that will stand the ages that perfectly outlines how to live in peace, joy, and prosperity? None of you. Why would I choose your way over the Lord's? We try to assume that we alone can make a moral standard. Really? How can we alone make a moral standard when the very person standing next to you will vary from your idea of standards? I'm an imperfect person, so I do not rely on my own standards. So I for damn sure ain't gonna rely on yours. The Lord is my standard. He is the basis of my conservatism, the tent pole and canopy of the Republican Party. I know some of y'all are offended by that, but it's okay for you to offend by insisting that we become more libertarian. And if you are, I think that you'd agree with what I'm saying and reject other libertarians who say we need to become more libertarian. Libertarianism doesn't lead us to salvation. Libertarianism doesn't have your eternal reward. Is your allegiance with Christ or libertarianism? A slogan of libertarians is the legalize everything party. You think you hate big government now? You go ahead and you legalize everything. And everything y'all want to legalize, liberals want to legalize too. Why do y'all cling to Republicans? Oh, I forgot, you hate taxes. This is where you get the I'm a fiscal conservative, socially liberal people, not realizing that being socially liberal will cancel out your fiscal conservatism, because being socially liberal leads to entitlements. The people will be forced to pay, and you can kiss your fiscal conservatism goodbye. You want to be liberal on choice? If a woman feels she has the right to abort her child, she will also feel she has the right to make someone else pay for it. So much for your fiscal conservatism. If a person feels they have the right to do drugs, they're going to take it to where they have the right to make others pay for it. People are using their EBT cards to buy marijuana from legal pot shops. I know, we should be like Portugal, where they get treated to get off the drugs that you thought were awesome enough to make legal. And who pays for their treatments? Sounds like bigger government to me. Y'all are so pro-rehab, but here's an idea. How about being pro-prevention so the taxpayer doesn't end up having to pay for another person's bad choices? Y'all want to legalize dependency, which leads to bigger government. I thought libertarians were all about independence, but what I see is them wanting it to be legal for people to be dependent on things, and don't understand that ultimately someone else will be forced to pay for it. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe there are things that conservative Republicans and libertarians can find common ground on. We pretty much agree that the government should not be involved with marriage. What two consenting adults do is their business and don't need a friggin' license for it. If you're a same-sex couple that wants to spend the rest of your lives together, that's your business. You want to have a ceremony before witnesses? That's your business. You want to consider yourself a married couple? That is your business. But you do not have the right to force people to endorse it. You don't have the right to force people to accommodate you against their faith. That is the balance of freedom that y'all keep trying to topple. Homosexuals are doing it the wrong way. And by the wrong way, I mean trying to involve the state to make your marriage official, of course. You don't need the government to make your marriage official. Just like I didn't need the government to make my marriage official. You should be speaking against licenses, not for them. I hated that my wife and I had to get a license to get married. The gay community tries to use the black plight to advance their cause, saying there was a time when blacks couldn't be married to whites. Yeah, and it was the Democrat Party, the ones y'all are loyal to, who imposed the anti-miscegenation laws. And they resorted to the old license to get married thing, and they would deny interracial couples a license to get married. Now, y'all are dependent and aligned with the same party to grant you a marriage license, the same license Democrats used to deny interracial couples during anti-miscegenation. And you think that's progressive? Oh, the irony. I want the government to leave me alone too. But leave me alone to do the right thing in this experiment of self-government. Not leave me alone to do whatever I want, because people left alone to do whatever they want to do will ultimately infringe upon someone else. And everybody who does what they want to do always thinks that what they want to do doesn't harm anybody else. Everybody makes justifications for what they want to do and dismisses the effects it has on others. That's selfish. Speaking of the leave me alone thing, libertarians pride themselves on being the leave me alone party. Well, why don't y'all follow that philosophy and leave the Republican Party alone? That's why I'm totally supporting a third party for y'all. Leave us alone and get your own. Libertarians are supposed to be all about being independent, but it appears that they're dependent on the Republican Party. If you're really independent, be dependent on your own tent. Now, libertarians may counter and tell us Republicans and neocon Zionists, and that's another thing y'all have in common with liberals. Your hostility towards Israel and your disdain for the military, especially y'all who follow Ron Paul. Anyway, you may counter and go on about our faults, and you may be right. And if we got it so wrong and you got it so right, where's your tent? If you're gonna be in the Republican tent, I'd say you adjust to us, not make us adjust to you. Let me be clear. I'm not saying libertarians get out or that you're not welcome. I'm just saying it's presumptuous of libertarians to come up into someone else's house and tell them what to do. Like they have all the answers. Meanwhile, they don't even have their own house. That's why I'm like, let's go third party. Libertarians, throw your own house party. But if you want to party with us, these are the rules. It's time for Republicans to lay down standards and not be led into thinking we have to be more moderate or socially liberal. Listen to me closely. This is why people keep saying they can't tell the difference between Democrats and Republicans. They're just a two-headed monster. They say that more than they worry about Republicans being too far right. That's the left-wing media promoting that crap. Let me remind y'all of how ridiculous saying far right sounds. What's far right extremists? Being pro-life? Oh, that's so extreme. And nowhere near as extreme as the left, who supports a baby being ripped apart in the womb and sucked away, or having its brain fried or spinal cord severed. Nah, that's not extreme. The far right are all about guns. Meanwhile, Republicans attend gun shows around thousands of guns and there's no killing spree. And the left imposes more gun control in the areas they control and gun crimes abound. And so they go to the extremes of imposing stricter gun control, which doesn't work. But the Republicans are extreme right because we have a simple idea. Allow people their Second Amendment right, it will discourage crime and discourage our government from getting too high and mighty, because governments throughout history have a nasty habit of subjugating their people. Republicans, it's time to distinguish ourselves. We got the lead. Now represent with it. If you want to keep it, you're going to have to demonstrate the effects of conservatism and how more people are going to see the quality of our communities improve. And that will come with keeping the government at a conservative size and making them back off. That includes businesses and government getting out of bed with each other. It's not healthy. Y'all need to break up and stop corrupting capitalism into crony capitalism. Capitalism on its own basis is healthy and minimizes corruption. Socialism and communism on its face is evil because it steals from the individual, forces dependency, and causes income earners to try to hide their earnings from the greedy state. And I'm not preaching to the choir, because I'm going to tick off a lot of Republicans too. I'm Alfonso Rachel with Zone Nation, and tough love teachings drove Dr. Phil's career. It may end mine. Shock the snot out of y'all.